Welcome to Into the Heart, Finding Wisdom Within, the podcast dedicated to guiding you through life's transitions with grace, clarity, and heart-centered wisdom. Hi there, this is Amy D., your host. This podcast is for you if you're navigating a change, a career shift, a relationship transformation, a new beginning, or even a deeper call within yourself that something in your life needs to evolve. Whether you're facing a big life shift or just sensing that it's time for something new, this is your space to find support, insight, and inspiration. I believe that life's transitions don't have to be overwhelming. In fact, they can be powerful gateways to growth, healing, transformation, and self-discovery. But you don't have to go through it alone. Together, we'll explore how to tap into your inner wisdom, unlock your strengths, and create a mindset that empowers you to move forward with peace and confidence. This podcast matters because you matter. Your journey is unique, and you're not alone. Every conversation, every story, every episode is designed to remind you that you have everything you need within you to thrive. And when we come together in community, we heal, grow, and rise in ways we never imagined possible. So whether you're in the middle of a transition or simply looking for inspiration to reconnect with your heart's wisdom, Into the Heart is here to guide you back to your center. Okay, on today's episode, I'm so excited to introduce you to an absolutely radiant guest. Andrea Whalen is a visionary healer with a unique blend of skills and expertise. In her healing alchemy, somatic yoga, and poetry soul awakening method, she blends her extensive expertise as a certified Hatha yoga teacher, Reiki master, and 2 decades in social services. Drawing from a powerful personal journey of healing from trauma and grief, she masterfully integrates the therapeutic somatic practices with the expressive power of poetry and mindful movement. Her approach helps you cultivate safety, release tension, regulate your nervous system, and achieve a profound soul awakening. A best-selling author and award-winning poet, Andrea's impactful books offer compassionate guidance and tools for spiritual healing, mindfulness, and self-care. These include Stillness in the Storm, a conscious daily journal of yoga and spiritual healing, Deeper Days, 365 yoga inspirations for inner calm amidst chaos, and No Matter How Dark the Stain, poems and inspiration for the woman in pain. Recognized with accolades like the Editor's Choice Award for Poetry, her literary voice resonates deeply, enhancing the transformative experience. Andrea, welcome to Into the Heart, Finding Wisdom Within podcast. I'm so delighted and honored to have this conversation with you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I love what you do. And I'm excited to learn from you too and share the conversation in hopes that we can touch the heart and light some more souls with our work. So thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Yes. It's such a beautiful mission, isn't
Yeah. Yes. There's no other word to say. Yes.
Yes. Thank you. So, Andrea, you are so talented. You have so many skills that you bring into the healing field. You're a yogi, a Reiki master, a psychologist, a poet, an author, and so much more. I know you're also a mother and a very busy light in the world. And I'm just curious if you could share with our listeners how all these parts of you dance together and how you weave those into your writing.
You know, I think over the years, it's become embodied. It started with poetry. But there's a good quote that I love that it might resonate for you as well. And for those listening, is that a healer heals herself first and then has the capacity or then heals others.
Yeah.
And I think as you ask that question, what comes to mind is that this is what I did to heal myself.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how I sit here on the podcast, not because, because for other people, I feel that my life experiences and the things that have happened that that I've experienced and gone through and wrote through can help other people. The poetry was the start. It's in grade 7. Poetry was flowing through me and I would read it on the pages And the words were much bigger than anything I had studied. And
Yeah.
I just found it so magical that I had all these big fancy words. And then songs started to resonate with me. And then any other poems that I would read, like in the newspapers and things, I would copy them down. I would write out lyrics. You too, Melissa Etheridge. They had some really deep, soulful words in their songs, but they also had a mission to them. And
Mhm.
so I resonated with those. And I wrote through my life. I wrote through everything that happened. Um, and then, some terrible things happened. And I started to notice some patterns of sexual assault, rape, and I could see a pattern forming. And I was like, okay, so I still had the poetry, but because I saw the pattern, I really wanted to break it.
Mhm.
And that's where the yoga studies came in.
I
I
see.
found a book called Being Peace from Thich Nhat Hanh,
Mm.
and it showed me a whole new way of life that that I could be peaceful and that there's a different way to live.
Yeah.
And so I started to dive deep into the studies of the East and into yoga, and studied Reiki and everything that I could, basically thinking that it would put white over the darkness of my life. And
Mhm.
the more that I did that, the more I just fell in love with the feelings of not feeling as much suffering, of not feeling pain, of not feeling like I was just darkness and bad and tainted and ugly.
Yeah. What an incredible and powerful way to really look within yourself too at ways in which you can shine a light on your own healing and now bring that into the world for the people that you touch.
Mm-hmm.
I love the way you say that um, that as you find or found yoga, how you were able to fall in love with life again. And I think finding that journey and practicing yoga, what it sounds like it was a huge catalyst in you being able to come back home to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And not even come back home. I think I had to build the house from the foundation up, um, because the experiences that I had were so dark that I didn't see the light. And so I remember using the book by David Burns,
Mhm.
How to Feel Good. I think that's what it's called. Oh, I could be wrong. It's behind me. Anyways, the yellow book.
Okay.
And inside of it, it was, there you can write inside and do the actual work. And it was like, how do you know if you're happy? How
Yeah.
do you know? What does it look like? And I had to like do that for each emotion so that like I think like in my metaphysics studies in later years, it made more sense when it was like you can't give what you don't have. And
Sure.
so I really wanted to make sure that, I was feeling happy when I was happy. So what does that look like? And
Right.
it's a lot of doing the inner work. It was a lot of writing and using books to kind of help um, guide me each step. So I'd have a little awakening with the book Being Peace, and then I'd follow that. And then, but I had to do Dr. Burns so I could truly know that I was feeling happy. What was it for me?
Yeah.
Right
Yes.
now I would teach totally different. I guess this is that weaving that dance you're talking about, because now when I teach my students, it's like the present moment, for instance, is a big concept in yoga, but it's fleeting.
Yeah.
And happiness, now I know through the years of this dance, is happiness is a moment.
Mhm.
It's not a place where I live. It's
Sure.
not a place to get to,
Mhm.
because I believe I'm already here,
Yeah.
and that we're all already here and that there's nowhere to get to.
Mhm. Yes. Beautifully said. I also appreciate finding a sense of peace in the present moment and being able to be a witness to what emerges within ourselves, right? The thoughts that emerge or the feelings and sensations that might be um, coming up at any given moment, and how we can tap into those as a bridge to really get to know ourselves deeper. You mentioned emotions. Um, and I think emotions can serve as really a bridge to our subconscious mind and to deeper parts of ourselves. Uh, so I think this invitation to pause, to presence, to witness, feels like a very sacred place for us to find um, stillness, to be able to maybe dig a little bit deeper. And I know you've written three bestseller books about this topic, and I would love for you to share about your practice of stillness and reflection and how you weave that into the work that you've written.
Yeah, I love what you just said because two words popped out. I wrote them down too because sacred and bridges.
Mhm.
Yeah, it it does feel sacred, I think, when those places that I found inside or maybe along the hero's journey. Um, yeah, and there is bridges, and I find that I mean a quote on my yoga studio, Ganga Moon Yoga. The quote on my wall is that breath is the bridge between the physical and the spiritual world. So
Mm.
it's one way to tap in. Poetry is one way to tap into those sacred spaces inside of us.
Yeah.
And Deeper Days, my second book, is another way. So it's 365 yoga inspirations for inner calm amidst chaos, but it's also what I did um, to cultivate my thoughts from fear into thoughts of love.
Mm.
And it was really 365 days. I used A Course in Miracles, that book,
Oh, yeah.
and I did it every single day,
Mhm.
but I did it for 3 years in a row just to make sure I had it just from where I was been, right? I didn't want anything to creep up that I couldn't handle from the past. So I really worked hard to transform that. And so Deeper Days is my first bestseller in the category of yoga and mental health. But it really is, I just made it super easy, all the yoga wisdom, just in one little paragraph each day. And then what I found is that and there's a mantra for each page, like collaboration harmonizes is this one here, day 79.
Mhm.
Collaboration harmonizes. So the whole concept is the art of concentration. This is what I learned in all of my Zen Buddhist studies is excuse me, if you can bring your mind to focus on one thought throughout the day, that's how you add meaning to your life. That's how, if you this, in Zen, it's called the three moments, which is also in the Deeper Days book. And it's if you can have one moment where you bring your focus from your head to your heart, then you can add another moment onto it
Mm.
and another moment onto it. And then there's that space or that extra breath. And then we become a little more creative and less reactive to everything that's happening. But from that space and from that moment is, there really is a kingdom and a sanctuary inside all of us. But
Yeah.
it's in, if you can just keep connection from your head to your heart,
Mhm.
um, every day is a whole new world and a whole new person. So you asked about stillness, and I might have went on a tangent, but
Okay.
the stillness. So first was the poetry
Okay.
that shone light on all of the darkness. Then came the wisdom of the yoga practices, and then I went into a year where my life changed, and the two people that I was closest to the most in my life were gone. And, I had a choice, and it was just like 2, 3 years ago. And I had a choice there. I felt I could either push against the waves that were coming, or knowing me, I fell right into it. And I went right into a year of stillness. Imagine not talking to the people you talk to every day. Like
Yeah.
there's profound, I went into a space of profound stillness, but the main lesson I learned is that stillness isn't silent. There's so much in the stillness. And that became Stillness in the Storm, a conscious daily journal of yoga and spiritual healing. And that became #1 bestseller in yoga as well. But what I love about it is that it teaches about stillness It reads as if I'm teaching in my yoga studio, and it's a yoga practice. So if you picked it up and read it to a friend, they could just do it in their living room. It's for everybody. There's not levels. There's not this, that. It just is. And it's who we are. And it's, inside of us is a well of stillness. We are still.
Mm,
Yes, we're also the storm, but we are still. And in yoga, there's a middle path.
mhm,
And my prayer and my hope for everybody is that they find that middle path. Not so much suffering, not so much bliss that we think, thoughts of grandeur or transcendence or trying to get somewhere, but right in the middle, right,
mhm.
like where your heart is, right in the middle.
Yeah. Yes, that's really quite beautiful. And it sounds like your journey has led you into a practice, a deepening of a practice with stillness. That sounds quite profound. If you were to invite um, a client or someone who is reading your books to cultivate a practice, how would one develop that type of practice with stillness? I
Yeah.
often hear people say that it's hard for them to meditate. I don't have that experience, but I do have people in my life who find it difficult.
Yeah. I think two thoughts there. One, I found the easiest practice. So during COVID, my yoga studio was closed,
Hmm.
but everyone was still out there. And that's so I was like, how can I make this really simple? Because also COVID happened, but the consciousness rose.
Yes.
So where I had to go to Brazil to learn how to transfer love to fear and have teachers and do all of these studies, we can understand concepts now that we couldn't understand before, right? Like there's been a rising, and so that's why Deeper Days works.
Hmm.
So here's the easiest way is to like when you're making your coffee, this is when I do it. So when I'm making coffee in the morning, I have a book stand, and then Deeper Days is open.
Okay.
So it's probably, if you're watching the podcast, you could see it's like 5 or 6 lines that you read. So
Mhm.
this is embodied self-love. I'll just read this one, it's short. We cultivate self-love with intense self-trust, wisdom, and discernment, attunement to physical signals, and deep connection with intuition. Old patterns quiet down with our new self appreciation and supportive actions. Trust and bathe in your glory as you grow through this process. You are creating the greatest love you have ever dreamed of.
Mhm.
You. And at the end, for the practice, if one wants to go deeper, so
Yes.
you would read this while you have your coffee. It's a little self-inquiry, makes you think a different way, see
Sure.
things in a different light, right? So creating new patterns and pathways for what? Health, peace, kindness, and compassion, of course.
Of
And
course.
the mantra for this day says, we practice yoga not to become enlightened. We practice because we remember we already are.
Beautiful.
So the person making the coffee can repeat that a couple times during the day. You're strengthening your mental muscles, your
Yeah.
spiritual muscles,
Hmm.
right? And then when you open your email, maybe you don't get so sidetracked, maybe not so upset, right? There's something to come back to.
Hmm.
This is the easiest way to practice. And the next day, you just start over and you
Yeah.
do it again.
Hmm.
Why? Because the mind has two functions: we forget and we remember.
Yeah.
And so there's 365. So you can either start at your favorite number or just open it or just start wherever it is. And just the next day you just practice again. But
Hmm.
there's so much magic that happens. There's so much magic inside you. And so every time you do this, it's not for anybody else, but you're revealing parts of yourself. Yoga is a practice of the self, through the self, to the self.
Mm.
You are loved. This is for anybody can do this, not men, not women. This is for all of us. This is for the heart. This is for our interconnected consciousness.
Yes. Yes, that's really exquisitely said. Yes. And we live in a world in which this is so needed. And to find a sense of calm amidst the chaos. and amidst the urgency and overstimulation and the doing and the busyness. And we've
Mhm.
come maybe sort of immune to all of the noise, right? With all the distractions. And so to be very intentional about setting aside some time just in a daily way, it sounds like to me, it sounds like a beautiful way to start the day and then a very intentional way to move through the day as well. It probably sets the tone for the rest of the day.
Mhm. Well, here's the thing. We're moving through the day regardless.
Yeah.
It's already going to be tomorrow. I mean,
Yeah.
sometimes I play with is there tomorrow, but anyway, that's my own practice. But we're moving through the day anyway.
Hmm.
So the ship is moving on the sea. So wouldn't it be nice to set your sail in the direction that you want to go? Like for once in your life, this is a fast paced, instant gratification society. And nowhere out there are you learning that inside you is all you need.
Right.
But you can't, but nobody gave it to me and I found it. And
Hmm.
so I'm sitting here today and you're listening today because you already have what you need inside you right now.
Yes.
Yeah. And so the books are just a tool of consciousness, a little something that you can do.
Hmm.
And so not everyone has to go through the darkness and the things that I went through and all these things. You can start right now.
Yeah.
And this just makes it really easy. Connecting your head to your heart each day, you feel the peace. Why? Because it's who you are. It's nature. What happens at the end of a yoga class? Why do people go? It's the same thing for shavasana. At the end of the class, when you're laying still and quiet, you have moved your body. But what happens is the nervous system can relax. When you hear the words from deeper days, it's the same resonance. I'm not saying anything brand new.
Yeah.
I'm just repeating the lessons I've learned on my journey, which is everybody's journey because we're here together, we're not separate. And
Right.
so it resonates within you in places you don't know, but after a few days, you're not the same person. And it's such a beautiful thing. You might just love who you are.
Yeah.
And I think we have a long way to go before we love too much.
Well, yes. I think that there are many opportunities for us to get or to bring light into awareness of more people and to raise the energy, to raise the vibration of love.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a frequency of love. Yeah,
love.
it's a frequency of love. And when because this is why you're doing your podcast, and this is why I've done all of this work and I've written my books.
Yeah.
And we're meeting at that frequency,
Yes.
right? And it's existent. But if all women or even just one more light was lit, you and I would both shine brighter.
Yeah.
And so it's important. I know how hard it is to when pain hits,
Hmm.
but if you can push through that or have a way or a practice,
Yeah.
like love is there waiting for you with open arms.
Yes, I couldn't agree with you more. I think that's so true. And oftentimes I have found in my own journey that sometimes we experience pain or it happens, situations happen for us in which the result is an experience of pain and it deepens us in a way that we can really connect not only to ourselves in spirit, but to other humans who are also going through very similar experiences. And um, I think that's very profound when we can meet in the heart space, in the
Mm-hmm.
vulnerable spaces of our humanity,
Yeah.
and to really grow together and expand and really bring a message of hope, especially in times like our current state of
Mm-hmm. Our attention span has shrunk. And
yes,
I love what you're saying because it's those kind of sacred places that we had spoken about.
yeah,
And I think it's sharing. It's
yes,
being able to be able to share the pain. There's a gift that happens when you can experience that pain, but also in some Zen ways, it's there's a saying, start where you are,
yes,
and that's also where the pain is.
yeah,
And it's in relation. So just as you only see the moon because of the sun, sometimes they're in relation. And it might help people. This is middle path I was talking about also. So if someone is in pain, if you can remember that light comes after dark, then maybe you can ride out and work on just being right in the middle of the pain. Right. So, what does that look like? What am I talking about? So, maybe 3 bags of chips you eat when you're miserable instead of 7, right? Maybe it's just a little bit less suffering the
Yes.
next time you go through. The pain is coming. Yes, this is life. But how can I suffer just a little bit less the next time it comes around, right? And
Right.
then light comes, and then it's just
Yeah.
life is suffering. How can we suffer less?
Yeah. I think a lot of that has to do with the consciousness that we have around suffering and how we view it, how we um,
Mm-hmm.
respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
How do we
And how
respond?
we're aware of it. Yes, very good point. Yes, because I know life is suffering. Why? Because I had a Zen Buddhist teacher.
Yeah.
Very good point, right?
Yeah.
So it's you almost have to accept that life is suffering. There are causes of suffering.
Mhm.
These are the 4 noble truths of Buddhism. Life is suffering. There are causes.
Mhm.
You can calm the causes and suffer a little bit less.
Yeah.
So, so very good point because if people who wouldn't have the studies wouldn't have that consciousness like on hand.
Right, for sure. On my path of healing and through my life, which I continue to be on, uh, you know, what I've learned much, and I have much to learn. But one of the truths that resonates deeply with me is, and I say this often on my podcast, actually, is that we heal in community. I truly believe that we are not meant to live these lives alone and that we connected in consciousness when we are seeking to um, live a more expanded life, more fulfilling, more meaningful, then I think it's an invitation for us to slow down our busyness, to take and go inside like you did for the time that you did, to really figure out what what is that drives our responsiveness to life and how are we being in the world? How do we show up?
Mm. Yeah, so that brings to light there's 2 important points because sometimes you're just thrown in the dark.
Yeah,
Like sometimes you just get hit by a car really fast.
yeah,
Sometimes you just get raped. Sometimes you just like it just happens.
right.
And that's one thing. And then I think that happened a lot of my life. And then I think there's a part where there really has to be this attitude of curiosity
Mm.
and adventure,
Yeah,
right? And then, so maybe you notice, yeah, so whichever way it comes to you, it's about getting to know, yeah, like having that curiosity. Okay, what can I do with this? Or how can I use this? Or does this help other people? Maybe this is my gift. Yeah,
yes.
interesting.
Yeah,
So cool.
that's very true. Yes, and it's always to honor that, the experiences that we have may be unique to each individual. Witnessing another person's process, in my experience, has been very healing for me too. Just listening to somebody else's story and to witness their willingness to share their vulnerability. Um,
Yeah.
I think it's what helps us to deepen in maybe our compassion and our ability to hold space for others. Um, I have a spiritual teacher who often reminds us to face everything, and that includes the fears that arise. And I think in today's world, there's a lot of that out there. There's many things that are frightening and scary, and being able to look at them and not shy away from the things that arise
Yeah.
maybe allows us uh, to deepen the practice. Yeah.
Yeah. So I hear my, I didn't cut you off, did I?
No, go right ahead.
I hear my Zen teacher in my head as you're speaking that. So amazing because especially for yogis, there's like bliss addicts
Mm,
and pleasure. We are pleasure seeking by nature, but
sure.
he always taught, sorry, if you're only focused on the pleasure in your life, you're missing half your life.
Yeah.
You're missing half.
Hmm.
Half is pain.
Yeah.
So I apologize.
No, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, we're pleasure seeking by nature. So,
Yes.
but half our life is pain. So yeah, it's really whatever it is.
Hmm.
David Goggins has a good line. I think he just says, "Bring it on to everything.
Hmm.
Bring it on."
Yes.
I think his knees are broken. He's like, "Bring it on. I'm
Yeah.
going jogging. I hate it. Fine. I'll put my runners right beside the bed then. Bring
Yeah.
it on." He's
Yeah.
wonderful and
Yeah.
inspiring. Yeah.
Yeah. It's I love the way in which you weave together all of the teachings, mm, the teachings of yoga and um your teachings and understanding of the Eastern philosophies and religions and ways in which we can come to know ourselves in newer ways than our Western world ways of thinking and living our lives. I think there's a lot of wisdom when we can um, incorporate some of the practices. And I for one, am really grateful to have a series of tools that I use that help me um, to find stillness and to find quiet in my life. A lot of it for me right now revolves around meditation. It also revolves around walking in nature and also holding space for others, I think, is a real sacred way to just be.
Yeah.
Um, Maybe you can share with our listeners the ways in which you like to do that in your yoga studio.
Mhm. Oh, you know what? Yeah. So lately, this is what I'm finding. After COVID and with the attention span so small, I find we need more ways in. Maybe the cages of our mind have strengthened at the same time that our love is bursting out. And I'm sure it's all for a glorious purpose.
Yeah.
Um, but I've started to do the crystal singing bowls in class for a little sound bath and vibration. And I let people know that, it's millions of pieces of tiny little crystals like warmed up, and the lip is tuned to a different vibration, like the same as the heart center is, the same vibration as the tummy, the third eye. We're all vibration. So I bring that in, and the poetry gets people thinking of something different, you know.
Mhm.
And then I bring in some guided meditation because let's be real, sometimes the mind, when you're still, here's what happens. If I don't see somebody come back for like 7 weeks, I'm like, oh, something crept up. Because as soon as you're silent, you don't know what's coming in your mind.
Yeah.
You have no idea. It could be like when you were a jerk in high school, right? Like, and then you're like, oh, somebody saw that, right? And then people won't come back. So I do a guided meditation, and
Mhm.
I say to people, whatever comes up, just meet it with like with some kindness.
Yeah.
And when people do that, then that's the safety that's provided, right? Because when you can meet your jerk in high school with some kindness, it acts like a lube, and the thought can pass through the mind. So it doesn't have to be debilitating and embarrassing, and like somebody saw something negative about you. It's just an attitude of kindness. Whatever comes in this hour of the yoga class,
Mhm.
it's like a safe container.
Yeah.
So sound, some poetry, some guided meditation, the yoga poses in a peaceful way. Laying on bolsters, a restorative style is lovely. Opens the heart without you holding it up, so people can relax more. So these, and final relaxation and some sage. It's a blend of things.
Sure.
Um, I think my practice and my teaching has slowed down, and I'm finding that slowing the practice down and doing more restorative things are awakening deeper places and connecting people deep within. And what I'm finding and what I'm seeing is that their light is shining. Where
Beautiful.
do I see it? Like on their Facebook page, they're posting, crystals and positive messages and rainbows, and in their outfits when they come, they have a new yoga bag or wearing a mandala, or like, it's beautiful.
Hmm.
It's beautiful. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm just always been following my heart.
Yeah.
And when you're still, you can hear your heart. Like everyone has an inner intelligence.
Hmm.
And yeah, just really blessed. And that includes all of the darkness.
Hmm.
And I think my main message is that the dark parts of your life and the light parts of your life are both love.
Yes.
They are. How could you?
Yeah.
They're not separate.
Mhm. Yeah. What a
Thank
powerful.
you. Thank you for these questions. Thank you.
Ah, thank you. Thank you for sharing and for your willingness to have this conversation in such an open way. And I love it. It's really wonderful. Um, I,
Yeah, I think the story, like some of the themes like this from this conversation is really sacred and really about sharing and a whole lot of love.
yeah,
Those are like such three beautiful things.
yes. That is one of my missions is to bring more love and light into the world in any way that I can. And I feel very grateful to you for joining me in this space because this really fills my heart with a lot of love and joy.
Oh, wow. What a blessing. You know what I love about you and what you do is it's intentional and inspiring.
Mm,
And
thank you.
with every text I send or with every word I write in my book or when I teach yoga, it's how it's intentional for me that it vibrates a frequency of love.
Yeah,
And so hearing some of your story, which is incredible, those things really intentional and inspiring are, I just feel important. I think it adds to more light in the world. So
I
yeah,
agree. Yeah,
thank you.
thank you. Andrea, would you like to leave our listeners with any wise wisdom words as we wrap up?
Yeah, yeah, of course. Hopefully, I don't cry saying it. I have a bad habit.
Oh,
Um, yeah, you are so much more than your thoughts, and you are so much more than you can ever think you are. And all you need inside you to heal is already there. It's already there inside you. There's a kingdom of love and peace inside you. And I can't wait to hear whatever book you feel inside that you need to write or whatever song that you haven't sung yet. And so please get it out there, get it out into the world because we need you.
thank you so much. From my heart to yours, I really appreciate you. And I can't wait to read your book from cover to cover. I'm
Thank you.
really inspired. So
Thank
thank
you.
you so much.
Mhm. You're welcome.
If our listeners would like to find out more about you, where can they find you?
Yeah, so you can find my books on good old Amazon, of course.
Yes.
Andrea L. Whalen. The last name is tricky, so it's Whelann.
Mhm.
Barnes and Noble, Indigo in Canada, any of your favorite bookstores, my books are available. You can find me at Ganga Moon Yoga, Ganga, on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, everything but TikTok. I haven't figured that out yet. Um, but yeah, and anywhere, Gangamoon Yoga or Andrea L. Whalen.
Beautiful. Perfect. I will also add that information to the show notes.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank
Andrea,
you.
thank you again from the bottom of my heart
Yeah,
for joining me today.
yeah. I haven't known you long, but I already love you. So thanks.
Oh, the feeling is mutual. Thank you.
Thank you.
If this conversation speaks to your heart, please subscribe and follow my weekly episodes of Into the Heart Finding Wisdom Within on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, and iHeartRadio. You can also follow me on Instagram at Pathways to Purpose Life Coach. If you're going through a major life transition and you would like some heart-centered support, consider taking a single step towards your own center. I invite you to set up a free discovery call with me to explore what that next step is for you. You can learn about my one-on-one coaching services at www.pathwaystopurposecoaching.com. There's a very special gift waiting for you to download. You will find a beautiful heart meditation and an interactive reflection journal to awaken your inner power. I hope that you've enjoyed this episode of Into the Heart. Until next time,